And we are back, fashionably late as always. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 229. Today we have another special guest. Stay tuned. We will be back after the short, brief intro from our sponsors.
TC Backer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. TC Backer.
Is your lead flow down? Whether you're a company owner, office staff, salesperson, or installer, you're a roofing rock star. We help you get more leads with custom SEO, Google Ads, and a pro website.
TC Backer.
Awesome. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you for tuning in with us today. I see that we have a few people in here already. We have another special guest today, my friend Jonathan Duquette. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly.
That's great.
Awesome. My grammar is horrible. So, founder, CEO of gonano, the future of protection. My man, Jonathan, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Really excited being here today.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad. This is a good one. Did a little bit of research on it. I think the first time that I met you, I think we spoke briefly at RoofCon 2023. My dad was there and was very intrigued by your product. He was telling me all about it. My dad's an engineer by trade, so things like this, technology and stuff like that, he's very intrigued by that stuff. But then I think our first real introduction was at Wind the Storm this past winter in I think that was Dallas, Texas this year. But since then, I've noticed you're kind of blowing up and changing the industry. Why don't you start out by telling us, like, what is gonano?
Yeah, so basically, gonano started 5 years ago. I had a little bit of experience already in nanotechnology, but in another fields. And at one point, I was just walking the street and was looking at a roof, and I was like, "Why there's nothing that exists out there to prolong and protect roof?" Right? I knew already like how amazing nanotechnology was in other industry, and I was like, "Why it's not already in that industry?" And a lot of people were like, and yeah, I just started doing research around that, and I found a lot and a bunch of research from across the world about the asphalt pavement industry. And after that, I just used these research and translate that, because basically an asphalt shingle is a little bit like asphalt pavement. It's really, really similar. So once you understand that, it's how can you bring that technology, but to really a large stream, but like to roofing in general. And we started there with one simple research, developed the product around that. But over the past 5 years, what we actually did is that we improved the product. So we did a lot of different variation over time, and that's why now we really think, and most people will say that we are the leading product in the industry just because with what we bring. And it's basically, it's not only like our competition where they are only using soybean product to rejuvenate the asphalt, right? It's good, we tested it, so we did tests with it, but what we found is that it doesn't really increase the impact resistance, the wind resistance, or the weather resistance. It's really just a rejuvenation process. Where gonano, where we stand apart, is that yes, we will rejuvenate it, but as well as adding more protection in general to an asphalt shingle. But not only that, to other surfaces like concrete, wood, metals, and we're adding more and more.
Okay. Okay. So for those of us that may not know what nanotechnology is, what exactly is nanotechnology?
That's a great question. So nanotechnology is just the science at the really, really, really small scale. So it's been used already to treat cancer, saving life, right? What I like to say is that we're not saving life, we're saving roof and building material in generals. It's just the way that it's done. It's that you can literally go and modify, for example, for human, modify the DNA, right? So for us, it's a little bit the same, is that we modify the DNA of an asphalt shingle. For people that are tuned in and know what's roofing, you know what's an asphalt shingle and SBS membrane. So it's two different products. One, it's a polymer kind of at the end, still with bitumen. So that's a little bit what we are doing. So we're changing an asphalt shingle to an SBS membrane.
Okay. So what did you say it was, an SBF membrane?
SBS, so elastomatrix membrane. So what we install in flat roof, so or roll down asphalt, torch down asphalt, whatever. There's so many names to it. SBS is the real name to it. So it's tyrène, butadiene, styrene. It's like it's a polymer basically, but that's an asphalt product but modified. So it's a little bit the same that we're doing. We're modifying asphalt shingle to become kind of an SBS membrane.
Okay. Okay. So what else can this product do? I heard you mention earlier, like you could, apply it to, wood, concrete and stuff like that. And so why would you want to do that? I guess first and foremost, put it on wood or concrete or things like that. But not only that, but like, how would you put it on it?
Yep. So basically every surface can be modified, right? So a lot of people are asking, how can I do that with my wife? We're not there yet, right? We're still just in the building sector, but basically is that every surface can be improved. And that's the main goal for us, is everything can be improved. For example, concrete, right? That's one of your questions. Concrete it's a porous material, right? So water is going to penetrate inside, but not only that, it's chloride salt will penetrate inside of it, right? For everyone that's northern or really south near the sea, there's a lot of salt. And over time, when the salts gets in with the water that push that salts down, which is the chloride, at one point the salt will touch the metal, which is going to create corrosion. Corrosion will expand and it's going to break the concrete. For example, when we install it on concrete, what's going to happen is that we stop that. We stop the chloride from it penetrating, but not only that, all and everything else, right? So if you drop wine on your concrete, it's going to stay clean. If water gets in, leaf gets in on top of it, it won't stain your concrete anymore. So it's going to stay clean. So there's the aesthetic for sure. The algae won't grow on it as well anymore, but as well all and everything for protection of that concrete so that it doesn't expand and break over time. So it's going to keep it clean. But yeah, that's the main. Wood, same thing, right? What's aging wood? It's moisture. We're going to stop the moisture from penetrating that wood because the water won't be able to penetrate, but it will still let the wood breathe, which, for example, other product like paint, acrylic, or silicone won't do, right? It's going to stop that from breathing, which is going to create long-term problem where our product will solve that.
Okay. Okay. And like, what's the life expectancy of something like this? Like, once you put it on, like, like, is there maintenance every 12 months, or is it like a one and done and it's got like a 50-year warranty or something like that?
Yep. So every surface is different, right? So for wood, I like to say it's going to be 3 to 5 years because it's fiber. Fiber doesn't, it's not the same type of protection. For example, metal is going to be about 5 years. Same thing, or windows or stuff like that. Why is that? What I like to explain is that for a full roof, let's say 3,000 square foot, right? 30 square of roof, we'll probably install 50 liters of product, which is about I don't know, 10, 15 gallons of product that we'll install on that whole roof, right? If you want to do that for metal, you might only use maybe, I don't know, something like 2 gallon of product max, right? So there's a big difference. So once it gets, what it's cool about asphalt shingle is that we can put enough product to create a really, really strong bond from the inside to the top, right? Because it's not only at the surface level, we really penetrate and modify from the inside out. So we can put a lot more product, create a much more durable connection, where, for example, an asphalt shingle is going to last from 5 to 15 years, depending on the age of the roof and the product that we're using, because we have different product. Concrete is going to be 10 to 15 years about. So every surface is different, and that's why we have different warranty for different product, but also for the age of the product that we're installing it on.
Okay, makes sense. And do you think that has something to do with, because I'm going to consider like wood being more organic. Okay, so the maintenance of wood compared to concrete, do you think it's because of obviously the texture of the material, but do you think it has something to do with, like, because wood's organic and concrete isn't
It's
necessarily?
inorganic. It's inorganic. Yeah, concrete is inorganic. And great question. So there's a lot of people don't know about that. You have different product, right? Organic product and inorganic, and you have a
Hmm.
mix of both, right? Concrete, it's literally inorganic. That's why, like 50 years ago, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna put concrete everywhere. It's gonna last for like hundreds of years. We won't have to do any maintenance." And now they're like, "Oh no, we still have to do maintenance, right? Because even if it's inorganic, it's gonna age, and there's going to be something that's going to make it age." But yes, wood is something that's really totally organic. It's going to age a lot faster. It's a lot more complex product than some other products. Uh, but yeah, so the big problem with wood is that it's going to rot, right? So after that, there's a lot of company that you can pre-treat it, the wood, which is good, right? It's a chemical that they put in it so that it's not gonna age as much, or it's gonna reduce the aging kind of because it's outside. Um, but where it's different, it's that wood drink water, right? So it's just in its nature. That's how it grows, right? It grows with water. And now what we want to stop is the water penetrating that wood, right? Which is the opposite of like what the wood normally needs. It needs water to grow normally. So now we're asking, do the opposite of what we want. So that's why it's a little bit more complex. But that's why as well, once you go and you install, for example, a paint on wood, now you stop the wood from breathing. So it's even worse because now you stop it from everything. So what we say is that with our product, what it's really cool is that we say stain it, right? Oil stain it or water stain it first, and after that, apply our product. So normally, if you stain it, we might have to stain it every years or 2 years. What is great with our product is, for example, you stain it first, and after that, you apply our product. Our product, nanoparticle, are a UV protection as well, right? It's like a big sunscreen that you put. So we stop the UV aging, we stop the moisture aging, and we stop all of that, right? So that way, but still that wood will still breathe, which is the main key and the most important thing here. Same thing for roof, same thing for concrete. The surface will still breathe, which is really, really important. And yeah, that not a lot of people know, and that's why people put epoxy on their concrete floor, which is a really, really bad idea, especially for long-term usage. It's cool, it looks good, but it's not a good idea, especially if you're in the north where there's a lot of melt of snow, and for a basement, for example, not a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. No, so I heard a lot of good things there. Basically it's kind of like a, I guess, for lack of better terms, a water repellent. It's breathable,
Yep.
right? And it prevents oxidation. So there seems to be three pros right there, right out of the gate before I get to the pros and cons question. But what I found interesting is when you were talking about concrete, and in theory, concrete you would think would last forever. It does, but it also gets damaged, and I think one of the biggest damaging factors in concrete is water. Okay,
Yep.
especially in the winter months, as ice melts, it gets down there and then it refreezes and it breaks the concrete. It breaks a lot of things, right? But what I think I'm hearing you say is if you apply it to the concrete, it's less likely to allow the water to get into a crack, right? To create more damage when the water gets down there and it refreezes and it basically blows the concrete apart. Is that what am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah, so freeze to cycle for sure is something that breaks concrete. But even if you're looking south where they don't have any freeze to cycle, the concrete will still get damaged. The biggest problem of concrete is salt. It's
Mm,
really salt. That's the chloride is the most like it's the problem of concrete is chloride. It's not water, it is, but water is the problem because it's how the chloride get delivered down to the inside of the concrete. Because without the water, chloride cannot penetrate, right? So you need like something that will drive that chloride down and down and down. That's why it takes a lot of time to get to the rebar, right? But as soon as it touched the rebar, that's where everything, because the surface is going to get damaged with the freeze to cycle, but it won't get damaged really inside. What's going to really damage your concrete slab or your like whatever your road, it's really if the chloride touch the metal, and that's
mhm.
where gonano will stop that chloride from penetrating inside of that concrete. So it will never go down and touch that metal, which is the
Okay.
most, and as well protect everything aesthetic, which is the surface where freeze to cycle will happen and where you're going to have cracks or it's going to like peel or it's going to crack a little bit at the surface level. It's going to stop that as well.
Absolutely. No, it sounds like a very fascinating and scientific product that you've developed. I guess what I was thinking, what was going through my mind is when you were explaining the water penetration, the breathable, and the oxidation, and it almost sounds like it's like a liquid Tyvek paper, which is like a vapor barrier almost that would go onto a wall or a surface before the siding would be installed. But okay, so now that's fascinating. It really is, because there's a lot of things here that I didn't know about yet. Because I was kind of questioning it too. I was like, so how is this going to go up against, a company, those other companies that are doing the roof rejuvenation stuff? And we are actually a partner with a roof rejuvenation company as well, and extending the life of shingles and shingles only. But what's unique about this is that it's not just shingles. It sounds like it's your decks, your steps, your patios, and things like that. Is there anything else that we can apply this to, like vinyl siding, aluminum siding, or anything along those lines, or vehicle, or like how far can this thing go?
Yeah, so there's literally no limitation because once you enter the nanotechnology realm, right, it's just molecule. And after that, it's just to make sure that that molecule can connect to the surface or whatever, penetrate and modify that material. So there's literally no limitation. And that's why we've been growing really, really fast in the past 5 years, right? We started only with asphalt shingle. Now we have concrete. Now we have metals. And we have other product that's coming. One of our goal is that by the end of this year, we cover every roof surfaces. So there's a lot of different, like a lot of different, but our goal is like, hey, we want to protect all surfaces, and that's one of our goal. But going forward, so there's a lot of R&D, right? So that's what is cool, and that's what our dealer network really enjoy as well. Is that, let's say, yes, that's really cool. You can sell rejuvenation for roof, but what about like their concrete? And the number of time that our dealers like, yeah, I'm selling the roof, but after that, I'm selling the concrete, I'm selling the fence, I'm selling pretty much everything. Now you haven't only made money on one thing, you can make money on every other surfaces. So our goal at gonano is how can we become the leader, and that's why at the beginning it was lead the future of roofing, and we changed it to future of protection, because we don't want to be only in roofing space. We want to be really the future of protection in general. Not only in roofing, we want to protect everything. And like, if for example, if businesses or big building want to come to us and, hey, I want my my bricks to be protected, I want my concrete to be protected, I want my roof to be protected, then our dealers network can just go out there and be like, yeah, I can protect all of that, and I'm your one guy to do all of it. So that's our main goal.
Yeah, no, no, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. Well, how do you see this changing and or helping or hurting and I'm saying our industry, meaning the roofing industry?
Um, that's a good question, but we have like, we are working from with brand new entrepreneur to people making 40-60 million dollars a year in roofing, right? So we have like a lot of different people, and some people will say that, right, oh, you're hurting the industry, but the truth is that the industry is changing, and it can't work, right? It doesn't work. For me, in the past 20 years, we created more shingle waste than the 100 years prior to that, right? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that we are changing a full roof every 3 to 4, 7 years, right? Because of hailstorm. And now I know it's cool for the money, but it's not cool for the planet, right? Because it's not the right solution long term, because it takes 200 to 400 years to decompose. It creates a lot of waste for nothing, right? So our goal is not, hey, you're not losing any money. Actually, you're going to make more money with gonano than if you're not doing it, because we are in a market where people are shopping around. They are looking at how can I get better. And if you can offer, and like a lot of roofer, what they do is that, yes, they're going to go and pitch a roof replacement. But they can say as well, hey, we can add 5 years extra to your roof. And in 5 years, when it's time to replace your roof, we'll just waive that fee towards your next roof or something like that. Right. So that way they just create the confidence with the customer, and they come with another solution that it's not $20,000. And you probably already know about that, but the insurance industry is changing, and roof replacement through insurance won't exist. So our product is literally the only way that homeowner can protect themselves from that, because we are the only product on the market that shows that we can turn a class 1 shingle into a class 3 to class 4 shingle, and that we can take a 13, 14 years old shingle and make it more impact resistant than a brand new shingle. So that's the data that we have, and that's how we want to protect the homeowners. So we are working for the planet, the homeowners, but as well, our dealers are making great money with it as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that you just covered in there. I don't even know where to start here. Why don't we talk, yeah, because you touched on so many different facets there, which were all really good, highlights and bullet points of how great this product is, the cost savings, the earth savings, I mean, all of the green product and stuff like that. So, well, let's start with, I guess, the cost of it, and I guess, like, do you see it? Okay, let's start with cost first. Like, so what is it compared to like replacing a roof or any of the other roof rejuvenation products that are out there?
So for us, we're selling our product to your dealership, right? We don't dictate the price that they will sell, because in California it's going to be more expensive than a small town, right? It just really depends. So I like to say it can start at like 90 cents a square foot to about $1.40 a square foot, depending on the product, because again, we have different product. So what I like to say, it can be like from 10 to 20% of the cost of replacing a roof. But you have the warranty that comes with it. If we are not like going for the 5, 10, or 15 years, depending on the age, then you'll get a credit on your next roof. So, which is really, really cool. And we've been in business for 5 years, and we only had 2 people to come back, 2 comebacks across 80 now plus dealers. And we only had 2 warranty claims to deal with.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good track record so far. I mean, especially with, it sounds like, from the amount of volume that you guys are doing out there. So on a retail model, so that's what I was thinking, not necessarily like the insurance model. It sounds like it would be a good a good component to add to, your portfolio in the retail model. So having said that, like, is there a certain life expectancy left on the shingles before you would recommend installing this? Like if there was like 60% life, or is it 40%, or doesn't it not matter? Just put it on. Doesn't matter if the roof is 30 years old.
So that's a good question. So what we did, I think about 8 months ago, is that we launched gonano Revive. So gonano Revive, it's a different product. So before we only had Shingle Saver. Shingle Saver, it's like 100% blend of nanoparticle, which is great. But as soon as you land on an older roof, if there's nothing living inside of that roof, what we found, and that was the two claim that we got basically, is that we installed that product on a roof that was a little bit too old at that time. And what happened is that because the nanoparticle can connect to something that it's not living anymore, right? There's nothing, it's already fully oxidized. It wasn't a good thing. So what we did is that we decided to launch gonano Revive, which is made with bio oil, but with the nanoparticle as well. So we are not only adding the oil loss of the roof, but we're adding the nanoparticle that connect that oil to the roof. And we have the data of that, and the graph that shows like the difference between installing only soybean oil or bio oil by itself and installing it nanoparticle. Because the problem with only installing oil on a roof is that, what I like to say is that over time, for example, put oil on your hand and go wash it after, right? It's gonna wash away sometime, right? It's gonna take time. I know some company out there have better technology than other, but the big difference is that once we install that bio oil inside of the roof, because after that it become hydrophobic, we stop the loss of the oil going down, right? So that's one great point of it. But as well, we are locking that oil and we are really connecting that oil to the roof. So since that we got this product, now we can go to like roofs that are literally 15, 17, 20. We have one guy that installed it a 23 years old roof. He was like, I was just testing. We are not warranting any roof over 20 years, because what we do is that we sell from Hawaii to Montreal, Canada, right? So we're selling everywhere, and a warranty is the same for Hawaii to Montreal. So we had to figure it out that point. But he was like, yeah, I just wanted to go and test it out. And the roof was really old, 22 years old. And he installed it. And our dealer came back to us a week later and was like, the roof looked like brand new. It's crazy. That's how effective our gonano Revive product is right now on all the roof. But after that, not every roof can be saved, right? There's roof that can be saved. If you have water infiltration, there's no granules left on your roof, and it's like, don't do it, right? Replace a roof, and we'll install a gonano Shingle Saver on that next roof so that you will never have to replace it. But if there's still a couple of years, maybe we can give you maybe 2-3 years. Sometimes it's just enough for people that can save a little bit of money for that next roof. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the thoughts that I had earlier when we were talking about the cost of it, like 90 cents a square foot up to ranging up to, $1.40 a square foot. That's still less expensive than replacing your roof. And especially being under the economic challenges with inflation, an election year, and gas prices, interest rates, all these things that we're fighting right now. As consumers, right? I'm sitting here thinking to myself, that's why I asked you that question earlier, because, we're in the the business of people, people business today. And whether it's our people or our local communities, like, how can we help those that need a new roof? Because obviously we go up, do a repair and stuff like that. And then sometimes there just isn't a Band-Aid big enough, right? Is what I call it, right? There's just too many, granule loss, storm damage, whatever the case might be, right? You can go up there. It sounds like you can go up, do a repair, apply this product, whether it's the Revive, whether it's just the straight up nano technology particles that you're applying to this. It just sounds like it's a good piece of arsenal to add to your arsenal, a good weapon to add to your arsenal. If anybody, let me just put this out there quick. If anybody has any questions, please do not hesitate to put them in the comments, because I see there's probably about 20 or so people in here right now. If you're just getting on, this is my friend Jonathan. with a company called gonano, and nano is nanotechnology, which is not necessarily like a roof rejuvenation, but like a water repellent, oxidation, deter. It's a magnificent product so far from what we're hearing. So if anybody's got any questions about this, please don't hesitate
And
before we end,
if
or even if you catch it on the replay, don't hesitate to, and then we'll put your website and everything in there as well before we get off here. Were you going to
and
say something?
yeah, you touched something really, really important. You were talking about repair, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that we are pushing our network to do more. Just because like a lot of roof that can be repaired, because you start and you touch that first shingle and it's going to break and you have to replace half of the roof as soon as you start doing repairs, right? But what
Mhm.
we found is, again, with our product Gonano Revive, go out there, do a treatment, and come a week later and you'll be able to do a repair without any problem, because you get back that flexibility, right? So you can literally take that shingle and apply it, it won't break. So that's the other solution that now we have, is that, or a homeowner have, is that they can call their local gonano dealer, go out there, ask for a repair, right? So we're going to come install the product, do a repair, and your roof still is going to be good. And a lot of people in the roofing industry that I found is that they're like, oh no, I don't do repairs because I don't want to go out there for $1,000, right? But the big difference now with gonano is that, hey, you can go, you sell the treatment, right, for the full roof. So now you're going to make maybe $3,000 out of that plus the repair. So you just made $4,000. You might net about 50% of 50% of profit out of that, which you'll make more profit on that. You do 2 repairs like that a day, you'll make more money than replacing roof all day long. So,
Mhm.
and I think more and more people are aware of that in the roofing industry, is that profit is more important than revenue, right? Because if you do $30 million a year, but you only have $500,000 at the end, it's not going well, right? You're still making money, right? But it's really stressful, and one mistake can just break it all. Then with us is that it's smaller project, but you can do them at scales, which bring a lot more revenue and profit, and which make a lot more stability long term. And you're creating that referral as well, because do one repair, you're going to get 10 referral. Do a roof replacement, you might get 1 referral, right? So that's the main difference, is that, like you said, you're out there to help people, you're going to receive a lot more. If you're out there just to make money, you won't receive much. That's the main thing about life.
Yeah. No, and I get that. You said a lot of good things there as well too. And some of the problem with this industry right now is what you said. They look at the $30 million, but they're not really looking at their net profit. They're more so looking at the gross. And like you said, doing a repair along with nanotechnology or the rejuvenation, the Revive product that you have, it requires less resources.
Yep.
Okay, less waste, less resources, less labor, less time, right? Less time. All that means, profitability. And I don't want to turn this into like, how profitable, roofing companies are, how badly we're gouging people. But that's the problem right there, is that we're not. We can't like it, and we are a for-profit business. Like we're in business
Sure.
to be able to support our families and those families that work for us and stuff like that. And it just sounds like a smart business move to at least, even if you don't go all in on it and this is all you're selling, right? If you're a roofing company, I don't know how many times that we come across the homeowner that will call us, because we do have a service department. We do services every day. There was something that we've adapted early on, like 15, 16 years ago. We started out, doing service for whether it was new homes or existing homes or just any homeowner in general. It's a big part of our culture and our company, is to go out there and let them know that you don't need a roof today. Right? Because we want to be your roofer. We don't want to sell you a roof. We just want to be your roofer. We want to be your family's roofer. We want to be your neighbor's roofer. And this sounds like a little extra something, because a lot of times we'll go out there, they can't afford a full blown roof, but they want us to try to repair it and get the leak to stop now. But this sounds like a more positive, uh, not an alternation, but an alternative, to like, okay, but we can extend your roof while we're here for $3,500. We can extend the life of your roof for the next 5 years, because a lot of people are like, I just need it to stop leaking because I don't think I'm going to be here for the next 8 years, right? Because on
Yep.
average, I think a person lives in a home for 8 years. So it's like, okay, that's fine. We got this product. So the roof's not going to cost you $15,000. It's only going to cost you for a repair plus a revive $3,500. You're going to get much more by being honest. Like, look, you don't need a roof today, maybe in the next 5 or 10 years, but we can extend the life of this for you. You're going to get more return, right? More return
Yep.
customers. You're going to get more referrals. You're going to get better reviews out of just being honest and transparent. Like, look, you don't need a roof today. We can repair it and complement it with revive. The other thing is too, I think Agatha's got a great question in here about, I think I can barely read it. Let me pull my phone up here.
No
Yeah.
problem.
I think it was about a dealership or franchise or something like that.
And maybe, if I
Go
can
ahead.
add quick,
Yeah.
if I can add quick on just what you just said, and you go out there for a leak, right? What I'd like to say as well is that gonano is an entrance for roofers, because we are literally putting the water down the roof, which is what you want for a roof, right? And the number of time that, like, when I started, right, I went out there to do to a roof, and the person was like, "Hey, I have a leak." I was like, "Hey, I'm not a roofing company," because I was not, right, here. And I was like, "But if you're not doing anything, you'll still have a leak." And what she told me is like, I called 2 roofing company to come and find the leak. They never found the leak. I came out there, do an install. After the winter, I called her. I was like, "Is there any water that got inside of your house?" She's like, "No." Same thing for a flat roof that I did in Quebec City. It was like, I asked 2 roofing company to come. They never found the problem. I installed the product 2 years after, no water infiltration. Now he sent an email to every of his customer, all people that own apartment complexes. Why? Because that's not the only thing. Is we rejuvenate, but we protect you as a roofer, because we're going to make that water go down the roof. So we are solving and reducing a lot of risk out there as well.
No, I love that. I love that a lot. I guess, Agatha, good to see you. Thank you for tuning in today. She wants to know, is gonano selling as a dealership or franchise?
Yeah. So thanks, Agata, for that question. So we're a little bit different. We still call it a dealership because it's the main opportunity out there. The only thing that we do a little bit different is that we want you to test out our product before getting inside and buying, like, I don't know, territories for $50,000, $60,000, right? Plus all of the costs. So the main goal here for us is really get started. So what we call is that you can start as a reseller, authorized reseller. So you get a package. So we have 3 different package ranging from $15,000 to $30,000, but it's in product. So you literally just buy product from us, and then you get started. After that, if after 6 months it gets really good between us, then we'll just grant you a dealership for free, right? But our goal is that don't go out there and buy for 50,000 without knowing if you like it, if you're going to be good. Start just with a package. Start at pretty much no cost, because you're selling you product. And after that, if you're good and you're buying a lot of product from us, then we'll put you as a dealer, and then you're going to have a protected territories, larger, and it's going to change a little bit. But yeah, that's a little bit the difference between us and the other people. We're not trying to make you buy in something really big upfront for territories. Just start, get good with us, buy product, and we'll give it to you for free.
Okay, so we're buying it directly from gonano. We're not going
Yep.
to ABC to pick it up. So there's no one two-stepping it in between and marking it up. So we're actually going online, ordering it from you. It shows up in a week or 2 or 3 days. That's
Yep.
great. Vic has a great question here. This is a phenomenal question about pressure treated lumber. How long do you have to wait to apply the product to pressure treated lumber?
So it's going to be about 30 days. The main thing is that our product, right? It's not like paint. Paint, it's a little bit different, or like oil stain, it's a little bit different. Our product penetrate and re-modify from the surface, right? After that, pressure treated wood, it's real different from one wood to the other wood, and the type of pressure treated wood. After that, we're going to help you, whatever the wood that you're looking to treat. But normally it's about 30 days just because our product penetrates, right? And it modify. So it's not like paint or acrylic or other type of thing that really needs to penetrate. Nanoparticle is so small that we can penetrate pretty much everything. So yeah, even brand new wood, we did it on brand new pressure treated wood, and it worked really well. And it's still working. It's at my mom's place. It's been 3 years and the water still beat up.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's good because I know, especially with pressure treated, you got to wait a long time to stain it or paint it. You got to wait for it to fully dry out, and by that time, a lot of times it's almost too late. It's already twisted and warped, and exactly what we didn't want it to do. That's why we purchased pressure treated lumber. But it seems like today that whatever they're using to preserve it has changed over the past decade or so, I guess, due to health purposes. And speaking of which, health purposes,
What I would like to say, what I will suggest then, instead of buying pressure treated wood, just buy normal lumber, stain it right away, and install gonano. You're going to be more protected than pressure treated wood right away. I will suggest that's the better solution, the best solution.
Yeah, and that's a bold statement. To use regular pine board to build, something outside exterior wise, and to use your product, that's a bold statement. So kudos to you for believing in your product that much. But getting back to, the pros and cons and environmentally friendly, like how safe is it? Like, is it organic? Is it safe for the homeowner's pets, the person that's applying it? Like, is there extra precautions you have to put in place, or is it pretty much all organic?
So basically, you're using nanoparticle of silicon, right? It's nanosilica. Silica is everywhere, right? It's in the ground. It's been mined out. So nanoparticle. So in 2008-ish, there was like a lot of people like, oh, nanoparticle is dangerous, whatever. But after that, a lot of people did research, and nanoparticle is already everywhere. It just, we didn't knew about it because we didn't have the technology to know that everything that's around us is nanotechnology based, basically at some level. So our product, there's nothing like, it's not cancerogenic. We can sell in every state in Canada. So that's a first for that. After that, what I like to say is that once we do an installation, right? Sure, shingle saver, it's a little bit more high in petroleum substance, just because we have to use organic solvent just to penetrate, because we're going on something organic. So we can't use water because we're going on something organic. So we need the nanoparticle need to be suspended inside of something organic, because we're changing from organic to organic phase. Anyway, I don't want to go into the science part of it, but there's a little smell to it. So we're just saying to people, close your window. What I like to say is that I'm like the best example. I got this product in my eyes, in my nose, in my mouth, pretty much everywhere on me, because I did all the tests right at the beginning. I was the one doing, I did 100 installation. I tested a lot of different systems, some system that broke in my hand and started splooshing everywhere, saying that I had problem where some product leak on the ground, and it never killed a plant. It never killed a grass, right? It never did any of that, because the pH of the product is neutral. Nanosilica is everywhere. For sure, when we are doing installation, we're asking our guys to put a chemical mask, because they're doing maybe 5 to 6, 7 installation a day, right? Even if you're painting, you're doing concrete, please put a mask on. Stop the mentally-ish type of things that, oh no, I'm just gonna do it, I don't need a mask. No, put a mask on. It's important. It's still a chemical. So put a mask on, but for the homeowner, the pet around, there's no problem, because even 15 minutes after the installation, there's going to be no smell, no anything. And we're not doing installation when it's windy, right? Because we're just going to lose product. the cost, the highest cost in our business is the product. So we won't do an installation if it's really windy and it's going everywhere. We want the product to land on that roof or on that concrete. So no, there's literally no risk. And we've done a lot of tests. We've been looking, for me, it was really, really important, right? Because I don't want to put something and be in the long term, like, oh, I created this and that. So that's why, as well, as a company, I think we're the only company with that much data, because for me, it was so important that I'm selling something that I'm 100% confident about. And that's why we're still doing data and research right now, 5 years later. And we probably saw us like in front of people inside of shows doing L impact tests as well. So we're out there and we're doing always more and more tests just because we want to prove people and we stand behind every claim that we are doing.
Hmm. So with all your testing and stuff like that, and how much of this has been applied, obviously some of it's getting into the gutter, going down the downspout, and going out into the yard like the day of
It
installation.
doesn't.
So,
Nope.
it
It
doesn't.
doesn't.
Okay,
It doesn't.
but
No, because
what if it
it
did?
really
Is it killing the grass or anything? Like, do
it,
you have to be cautious and spray things down after you're done, or while you're doing it? Does there have to be somebody on the ground spraying a hose on people's flowers, the neighbors' flowers, because of overspray?
so if if the product goes to the gutter is because you're applying way too much product and it's
Hmm.
not good, right? Because the big difference is that our product, right, it's nanoparticle based. At one point, you don't need to oversaturate it. So what I like to say is that as soon as the and the big difference with our product is that the shingle want to drink it, right? It like you apply our product, you literally see it penetrate right away. It's not like other product because it's only oil that it go down the roof, right? Most more like other company are using soybean oil. Soybean oil don't like asphalt, right? So it's going to go down and it doesn't penetrate. The difference is that our product wants to go inside. It wants to penetrate inside of that shingle. So there might be some little in the gutter, but it will never go down to the ground. I've never seen that. And if you're doing that, is that you're installing way too much product and you're just losing money because you don't need to apply that much product to so that it works. But again, the only problem that we might have, right, the overspray is that if you're applying on a roof and it lands on concrete, if it lands on concrete, what's going to happen is that, and it dries because it's really hot out there. When it's going to rain, people will just see the place where the product land. The water won't penetrate, right? But that's the worst that can happen. It happened to us back in the days. What you do is just you go out there and you treat the other section of concrete. You might even be able to charge the customer because he's going to be like, "Oh, it works really well on concrete as well." Yeah, you want us to do it on all of your concrete? Yes, good. So we're going to do the rest of your concrete. But that's I've never seen anything else. We never killed any plant. We never had any of those problems. Never.
Okay. Oh, wow. I have a bunch of questions. All right. I'm sorry these are all over the place because as you're speaking, I'm coming up with more questions. And by the time you're done, because I'm trying to stay in tune with what you're saying, I can only remember a few of them. But when you were talking about the concrete and the roof and the gutters and stuff like that, I was thinking about ice damming. Okay.
Yep.
What is pros and cons of, like, because up here we're in the northern climates, like, does it create more ice damming? Does it alleviate ice damming? Does it help is there a danger created because the snow is going to slide off easier? Give us that synopsis.
Sure. Do you know what's the difference between hydrophobic and waterproof?
I don't think so.
Okay. So waterproof is what you have when you're talking about acrylic, silicone, epoxy, right? It's a surface something. It's what you're going to put in your pool so that it retain the water, right? So it retain. The difference is that hydrophobic, right? It's like what I like to explain is take two magnets, put them on the same pole, and try to stick them. What's going to happen? They want to repel each other, right? They don't like each other. That's hydrophobic. So we don't like water, right? So we don't stop water. We don't like water. That looks like small, but it's a big deal, right? Because if you stop water, then you stop breathing as well, the breathability as well. So, but if you just don't like water, you push the water out. So that's the main thing. When it comes to winter ice dam, right? I'm from Quebec. That's why I have a weird accent. I'm French Canadian, right? But the main thing is that that's where I did all of the testing, right? That's where we started. And what we've been able, and we have video on our Facebook page and YouTube video, and we have dealers in the Albany area that he did like at the end of the winter. And the biggest problem is that when it freezes at the bottom, right? Then the water gets and push up. The big difference is that because it's hydrophobic, the ice doesn't like to stick that much to the shingle, because the problem right now is that people think that a shingle is fully waterproof. It's not, right? The water penetrates inside, it freezes, and it's how it breaks at one point, because all the weight of that ice just gonna shear that shingle. The main difference now is that we don't like the water, so we don't let that water penetrate that shingle. So it's still gonna connect just at the surface level, but when it melts, what is great is that the water will just pass between the shingle and the ice and go down to the gutter. It won't push up. That's how we save people's. And like when you were asking, when we were talking about water infiltration, that's one of the way that we solve people water infiltration, is through solving the ice dam problem.
Yeah. Okay. No, it sounds good. No, I like that, because I was sitting here wondering to myself, like, what would it make because ice is going to form regardless. It gets cold enough, ice
Yep.
is going to form. So,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
does it create a more slippery surface, because now that the ice isn't sticking to it? So would you recommend someone probably putting up snowbirds, whether it was a metal roof or an asphalt roof? Would you,
So so the only time that it's slippery, it's when you do the installation and so the time that it takes to the particle to penetrate inside of the shingle, right? It's the only time that's slippery. Let's say 15 minutes after that you did that coat, after these particle penetrate inside, it do the modification. So the main thing about any of our product, the surface will still be the same. You touch it, it's going to be the same thing. So it won't be more slippery in concrete. It won't be more slippery on asphalt shingle. It won't be any of that. So it changed nothing, right? We changed the molecular structure of the shingle, not the surface. We don't modify the surface. What's happening at the surface is just the result of what's happening inside of the shingle.
wow. Okay. I love this podcast, because, it's called Behind the Tool Belt, because normally we talk a lot about, personal improvement and the person behind the camera. And what's cool about this is also products. We bring people on, they talk about the products, but also like what's behind the product kind of thing. And I feel like we've covered a lot of, the pros and things like that. And you've mentioned some of the cons too. It could be a little more expensive, and that it's not an organic, but it's not necessarily a hazard to your health either. And when you were talking, and one of the reasons why I was asking this question was because, growing up in the construction industry, I painted, I stained, I've used paint thinners, I've used, all different types of solvents that are very, very, very hazardous to your health, period. If inhaled, killing brain cells to making you feel dizzy, carbon monoxide poisoning, all these things over the years that we've done. So it really doesn't sound like, it sounds like it's less dangerous than that alone, but like no one's talking about like the dangers of paint thinner, the dangers of painting, a closet interior wise, and proper ventilation and things like that. And this is the thing too, most of our stuff is exterior wise. So you're outside, right? Obviously you got to use it with caution, right? You suggest, using a mask. Well, because there's a smell to it, right? And with anything in the construction trade, we should be thinking safety first, right? But it doesn't sound like it's killing the neighbor's pet. It doesn't sound like it's killing people's azalea bushes and things like that. So it sounds like it's fairly environmentally friendly. But I guess there's $2 million questions to me, I think, and those of you out there listening. One, I think his name was Houston Painter, asked, like, what are the insurance companies saying about this product?
So, one of the big thing about us is that, like, a lot of people are like, why do you have that much research, right? We have over $500,000 in data and research. The reason is that we are the only company out there that's been approached by the Institute Bureau. We've been approached by an insurance company, and we've talked with them, right? And they're like, here's what you need, like a test. You need that test, that test, that test, that test. We went out there as a startup, right? And it's like $40,000, $60,000, $120,000, $200,000. Like it gets a lot of money to get started, right? Just to get started and being out there. And what's funny, it's like 6-7 months ago, we're like, hey, we have all of this data. Like, are you ready that we start like talking about doing a deals? And they're like, yeah, you know what we're looking to do is just going out of the roofing industry. We just don't want to insure roof anymore. And we're
Mhm.
like, oh wow, that's a hook, right? That we've been investing all of this money, creating all of this data, which is good because we still have it, but mainly we created that for the insurance industry. They're not saying that they are not interested anymore. It's just they don't know where they are going right now. Nobody knows where they're going. Like a
Mhm.
lot of insurance company are just looking to drop roof in general. Like I went to in Texas well uh, Austin, Texas, to the Texas Department of Insurance to talk with the people out there, right? During a hearing, just because I was like, I want to know what's happening right now in the market, right? And that's what we do at gonano, is that we're not just talking about, we're going out there. And I went out there and I spoke with them right away, and I was like, what's going on? And what she told me, she was like, we will never let any insurance company to stop insuring roof in Texas. But what we are seeing right now and what we allow them to do is that what's going to happen is that we're going to create two different policies. You're going to have one policy for your house and you're going to have one policy for your roof. The policy for your roof is going to be the deductible is going to be about 2 to 4% minimum. So it's going to be about 15, like let's say you have a $500,000 house, it's going to be about $15,000 as a deductible. But not only that, what they're creating right now is that they're decreasing the value of your roof on 10 years. So for the first 5 years, after 5 years, let's say you claim, the worth of your roof only worth 50%, but you still have that 15,000 deductible. So it costs you literally more to use your insurance than to go and replacing it yourself. That's what's going on right now in the market. That's where we feel that we still are in conversation with insurance industry and insurance company. It's just like it's going to be something that's going to take just more time until everything gets more flexible. But again, yeah, we are dealing. Insurance company likes us because we solve the problem of water infiltration, L resistance, wind, right? And we increase the lifespans of roof, right? So that's why they loves us, because we're the only company with all of the data that show that we can save them money. But now they are looking on how to not spend money in the roofing industry. So that's
Mhm.
what they're looking to do right now. So we're just in the middle. That's why now we switch our focus and we're a little bit more on the consumer side now. And we're just trying to educate people and consumer that, hey, that's your new insurance. gonano is your new insurance to protect you, and so that you don't have to spend freaking $15,000 in a year or so.
Yeah. No, that's good. So we're running short on time here, and I know
Oh,
you're very busy. So I got two more questions. One leading to the to my sorry. One relating to what you were just talking about. So what you're saying is the insurance companies, are they identifying what this product is, and they look at it and be like, oh, okay, yeah. What if they came out and they said, look, we're not going to insure your roof anymore because we've heard this before, because it's at its life expectancy. So we're going to drop you until you get a new roof put on. So have you had a situation where, an insurance company came out and was like, oh yeah, go nano. That looks like the roofing contractor came out, did the repairs that were needed, plus also added the revive to it. Have you had anybody
yep. So
identify?
right now we are working more like at the local type of system way, where, and that's what we are teaching and helping our dealers with. It's like approach these insurance agent in your neighborhood, explain to them what's the product, show them the data, right? And we had a lot of them that have been able to write it off, right? So that insurance company are like, okay, I'm going to add more life. You don't have to replace your roof. It happened in Colorado. It happened in Florida. It happened in Texas. It happened in multiple places where we've been able to show with all of the data that the insurance company or the agent was comfortable at saying, okay, we're going to extend your policy. So
Mhm.
we got that right. After that, it's really difficult to do it at a state level. For example, in Florida, but right now they're changing a little bit. Where, hey, if we do an inspection and now we claim that the roof, and that's what's cool with Revive, it's that the roof's going to look as good as a brand new roof, and it's going to actually even perform better. And that's why, like, we had a lot of problem with big institution, I cannot say their name on that podcast, right, where we wanted to do testing on aging shingle, but they were like, no, we can't do that because the shingle manufacturer don't want us to do that, because they don't want us to prove that a shingle after 5 to 10 years is not as effective. So we did it with it's called Green Center Canada, and we did a test with them. We tested like from brand new shingle to 15, 17 years old shingle. And that's the data that we got, is that we can take that 13, 14, 15 years old shingle and make it as good as a brand new shingle.
Yeah, so this is a great segue, because my last $1 million question for you is what is shingle manufacturers saying about your product? Like, are they stating like it's going to void the warranty if you use this product, or are they saying no, use the product because we want you to extend the life of the shingles because it just makes us look better?
They will never say that. Yeah, one of the problem, I know some people don't like when I say that, is that, like, asphalt shingle manufacturer, if you go back in the 70s, there was like 180 manufacturer of asphalt shingle. Right nowadays, there's like 46 major one, and so how do you come from 180 to 46? It's because they bought the whole competition. Once you bought the whole competition and you own a monopoly, how can you make more money? It's not by making something better. They are all publicly traded company. The only way that they can make more money is to make money to the shareholder and not helping their customer, right? So they don't want, they want you to replace your roof every 7 to 8 years. I don't put all of them in the same basket. There's some company out there that are really looking on how can they create a better shingle. But yeah, no, but most of them they don't want to extend the life length of your roof. What we say is that we're having a better warranty anyways. Homeowner don't really, like 90% of homeowner don't have any warranty on their on their roof anyway, because there's so many ways that they found, and it's why it's like a 6-page warranty. So no, most of them don't want to. I mean, some of them talked with us. They were like, "That's a great product," but generally speaking, they don't want shingle to last that long. That's the main thing.
Well, of course. I mean, things are only built to last for so long, and unfortunately, that's a big part of our economy.
Yep.
Right. Is things breaking, right? Whether it's from a
Yep.
mechanic or car dealerships, right? Like cars and things are only built so long anymore. They're not built to last, but that's a huge part of our economy today. And that's, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, unfortunately, I mean, that's what created our most of our economy anyhow. But what you're saying is nobody said like, don't put this on our shingle or else it'll void the warranty. Like, does a homeowner or a contractor, do we have to be concerned that it may affect the warranty? Like, let's just say somebody put a lifetime GAF roof on their house 15 years ago, and we all know a shingle, unless it's properly installed with proper ventilation, intake, exhaust, all those things, proper insulation in your attic, is going to affect the life expectancy of your shingle, right? So like, if you get 15, 20, 25 years out of a 30-year architectural shingle, you're doing good. You probably had a good contractor or home builder that built your home to begin with. So has anyone said like, no, don't use this product on our shingles or else it's going to void that warranty for the contractor and or manufacturer defect?
So we work with a lot of different attorney and lawyer across Canada and the US. And what they told us, right? They went over all their warranties, right? They will say they will say, like, if you write to them, they will say, yeah, it's going to avoid your warranty because it says that but the thing is that now us as a company, like, we could fight it. We don't want to be honest, because we're not looking to spend millions of dollars just to fight that type of claim, and we'll just help the homeowner at the end, right? And we'll just make it clean. That's our main goal as a business. But literally, we have $500,000 of data that shows that it only improved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And part of their warranty is like, it says that it doesn't affect the shingle, but it doesn't really affect, it improve actually the shingle. So it could be, we could fight on that because we actually have that shingle, and they can't, there's literally no way on how they can say the opposite of that, because we have the data that back it up. So that's the main thing with us, is that, and that's why we're creating all of this data. because if they will have to come to us, but again, our goal is that and most homeowner knows it, right? When they approach us, it's not because they think that they're going to get $10,000 from whatever shingle manufacturer, because they know they won't receive any money, right? Or if they receive any money, it's going to be like $800, $1,000, $2,000, but it's not enough when a cost of a new roof is like $30,000. So you're better off installing that $3,000 product and getting that 5-10 years extra than trying to wish and hope that someone's going to come down and give you money. And I don't really believe in that. So, but that's
no, and I didn't mean to drill you on that question, but I'm sure someone at some point in time is going to end up asking you that question, and I think it's a fair question.
100%.
But as you were speaking on your defense on this, is, you know, if somebody had a roof installed 15 years ago and they're looking to use your product today because it appears that the life expectancy of their roof has shortened for some reason, that usually goes into how it was installed, the application to begin with. And the sad reality of it is, especially with our industry, the chances are of that same roofing contractor still being in business, circling back to our earlier conversation of being profitable, the chances of them still being in business is slim to none, because 80% of the roofing contractors in America go out of business in the first 4 years. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to bring that point up. So if you would have to like battle somebody or us contractors selling this product, you know, explaining to a homeowner, you know, because part of a repair on a roof is not just going up on the roof, but it's also inspecting the attic space, looking for, you know, penetrations that shouldn't be there, or a dryer vent that's just venting into your attic space. Poor intake, no exhaust, gable vents are probably the worst thing that you could probably put on a house. You know, those things, educating the homeowner, actually getting in there and correcting the issue before you do the repairs, before you apply, you know, your product. gonano, the shit, I can't think of what, relevant, not relevant.
Hydrophobic?
No. Your product. I'm losing my train of thought here for a minute. Not reinvent, but the
Revive Shingle
yeah,
Saver.
sorry about that. I couldn't, before applying the
It's
Revive product on it, they should be actually fixing the cause of why your shingles are only lasting 15 years to begin with. And I just wanted to throw that out there, because, you know, that's the problem. It's the preparation before we even install the roof or go out, and when we do an inspection, you got to go out and actually inspect. Why is your roof 15 years old, or why do you have 75 or 150 years of layers of shingles on a 75-year-old house? And the chances are it's because of poor ventilation, poor insulation. You don't have any attic insulation, right? So educating the homeowner, educating the consumer, educating the contractor first and foremost, because everybody just wants to go out and put another layer of shingles over top of another layer of shingles.
That's a good thing. And like I like, yes, the insulation is really important, but the product is not the same. Like, and I've seen it, I've tested it, I've seen it in the lab. Like, you know, like a bundle of shingle 30 years ago was weighing 120 pounds, and that same bundle now weighs 80 pounds, or even 70 pounds. But what's funny is that shingle is thicker than the one from 30 years ago. Why is that? Is that shingle nowadays are so pre-oxidized because it's full of air. Like, you go on an FTER spectrum and you look at the molecular structure of a shingle, you see the spike of air inside of the shingle is crazy because it's so pre-oxidized. And what I like to explain is that you install a brand new shingle, it's like a 10 years old shingle from the past that you just install. And that's why you're putting a brand new roof, all the granules are going down. It's like there's granules everywhere because you're not sticking, because it's so oxidized that it just go down. And you can install a brand new paper, a brand new shingle that might be in the yard for 5 years, freeze-thawing like all of these years. But after plus all the freeze-thaw cycle, that's why, like, I like to explain. And even on a brand new product, a shingle saver, what we found is that even a brand new shingle might need some oil, not like as much as a brand, like as a Revive will do, for example, like a full soy product on the brand new shingle. But what we found with our data is that even a brand new shingle, and that's why right now we're modifying our new shingle saver product, is that basically what we found is that once we were adding a little bit more oil, even on a brand new shingle, we're helping it. And but with all the nanoparticle, because we stopped that oxidation process, we reduce that, and that's where it's really important. But yeah.
Yeah, no, and that you're the product from what I'm gathering from you and the confidence that you have and the bold statements that you made, which I don't blame you because you're confident in your product, you stand behind your product. Here you are on live Facebook, where it's live, raw, and uncut, and you said it. Everyone heard you say it, and unfortunately or fortunately, here it is on the internet now for life. But it from what I'm gathering and the research that I've done, and I saw Geo even posted in there where Matt Mahala was doing, the impact test on it with the hail gun and stuff like that. And obviously the difference between a treated and untreated shingle, the fibers, didn't pull apart or become exposed because the granules stuck better to the shingle. So, with your research, whether, with Matt Mahala and his talent and experience of hail and insurance and stuff like that to your experiences in your testing that you guys are doing now, it sounds like it's a great product. I know Vic put how to get a hold of you guys in there, the www.gonano.com. So if anybody's interested, but other than that, is there any place else somebody, if they wanted to use your product or see the reviews or get some testimonials from anybody, where would they go to find that stuff?
So we have we just launched a new page, which is gonanodealers.com, or you just can go to gonano.com and click on the dealers link, and it's going to land you there. On that page, you have dealer testimonial. We have like tons of testimonials as well from dealers, from roofing company, but as well as with homeowners. And yeah, you can just go there. We have calls 5 days, 5 days. Monday through Friday, we have different calls, group call, just come in. We have from 1 to 20 people on these calls, and we're just having a chat, a blast, and we just exchange about the product, how it works. We're diving in a little bit more. And after that, if you're interested, we are going to book a second call with you and talk a little bit more about the product, how it goes, and what's the profit potential and all of it. But yeah,
Fantastic.
Just go on Gonano. Or if any information, info@gonano.com. It's another great way on how to reach us.
Gonano.com. So check it out, guys. We're going to wrap this episode up. We're about an hour and 12 minutes into it. Thank you for your time, Jonathan. Thank you for everyone for tuning in on your lunch break or wherever you are in the world today. Don't forget to like, love, and share. And one more thing before I get off here. I should have said this. Announced this earlier, but our fourth annual food drive of the year is June 27th. Between now and then, we will be collecting food or any other organization that wants to participate and put a box out there and have your team gather food up. It's a great way, and we'll take monetary donations as well. And we will have on our website, I'm sure, our Cash App. So if you want to pay by check, Cash App, donate food, bring the food here, or the day of the 27th, you can stop in at the well and join us and help us unload all the food that day, June 27th, between the hours of 2 and 4 at 24 South Penn Street, York, Pennsylvania. So I just wanted to give that a quick plug because I want to get out in front of this, because I feel like last year we waited to the last minute to get this out there. So fourth annual food drive. Thank you guys for tuning in. Jonathan, thank you for your time. Thank you for your expertise, and thank you for what you're doing for our industry. You guys have a great day.
Thank you very much, Ty. And thank you for everyone that tuned in. And thank you very much for the opportunity of being on your podcast today. It was amazing.
Yep. Thank you, brother.